Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Pauper at the request of Patreon subscriber Osibus, and this is TortEx Gates. The deck's namesake, Tortured Existence, an old school Pauper engine, beloved by many who've been playing the format for a long time, but hasn't been super competitive lately. An enchantment for a single black, and then you pay a black, discard a creature card, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. This card is basically survival of the fittest if you have a big enough graveyard, which seems like a silly thing to say, but it's kind of like in the late game, Snapcaster Mage's Demonic Tutor, because your graveyard just has all the stuff in it. If you do some work, get your graveyard filled up with stuff you'd want to tutor for, this does a very good survival of the fittest impression. The way we fill the graveyard is with Stinkweed Imp, and Commune with the Gods, and Vessel of Nascency, and Golgari Brownscale. We've got a bunch of Dredge and a bunch of Self-Mill here. Golgari Brownscale and Stinkweed Imp are big parts of the engine because they have Dredge, which means you can guarantee you draw a creature each turn, which means you can guarantee you can activate Tortured Existence each turn, and while you're dredging, you're ideally flipping over new creatures to Tortured Existence with. Brownscale especially, when this card is put into your hand from your graveyard, you gain 2 life. That means you gain 2 life when you dredge it. You also gain 2 life when you pick it up with Tortured Existence, which also means that there are certain mid-game and end-game scenarios where if you have 2 Brownscales, this reads pay a black, gain 2 life, because you discard a Brownscale to pick up the other, and you gain 2 life when that happens. That's a way to make the game take longer, because you are a control deck. And then Osibus specifically asked for this to be combined with Basilisk Gate as a win condition. Typically, Gate decks are white-based, because you get Squadron Hawk and Sacred Cat and things that are fun and easy to make really big. And traditionally, Tortured Existence decks aren't playing Gates, because they don't really need that. But this is the challenge I was given. So when building my creature package, I had to think about ways to make Basilisk Gate useful. As pumping a random ground creature that could be chump blocked by anything doesn't help, which means I was looking for flying and trample specifically in my endgame. That's where Kitchen Imp, Avenging Hunter, and Nyxborn Hydra kick in. Avenging Hunter especially, because we are a Spore Frog deck that can Spore Frog every turn. If you have a Dredger, a TortEx, and a Frog in the graveyard, you're guaranteed Spore Frog every turn, which means your opponent can never do damage to you unless they break that up somehow, which is a great deck to try to hold the initiative or the Monarch with. And Avenging Hunter, being trample, being a great target for Basilisk Gate, being great to loop with the Spore Frog, the initiative seemed like the end game I wanted to be working on. And then there's just some other toolbox creatures in here. Evolution Witness could get back Tortured Existence or something else if we need it to. Very Macabre and Masked Vandal respect the fact that other people have decks that do stuff in the format. Tilling Tree Folk can get back your Gates as a creature, so you could Tortured Existence with it. And that's the name of the game. It's slow, it's grindy, it's fun, it's very old school. I hope it holds up in modern day Pauper. We're about to find out. This is TortEx Gates from Osibus. I'm on the draw in round 1 with a slow and steady hand, but all the hands are going to be slow and steady with this deck. An opponent, Basic Mountain. Those tend to not be slow or steady. Black Dragon Gate is going to make green also. We've got a Flame Breather. Opponent is heating up. All right, do I want to commune or do I want to creep? I think I want to creep. I'm going to play Basilisk Gate and creep. That starts to slow down the damage at least a little bit. I'm going to tutor a forest here. Removal is going to be a little important, and getting my engine going with this Brownscale is going to be very important. Highway of Robbery. Okay. The slow burn begins. These damaged creatures are so much scarier for a deck like this one than Lightning Bolts and Fire Blasts are, because they just make every spell better, and the game's going to go long, so the opponent's going to have a lot of spells. I would much rather try to survive a flurry of fast burn than deal with these steady engines. Okay, opponent Fiery Tempered my Gate Creeper Vine. That is only going to be positive if this Flame Breather is in play for 3 or more turns. Because if they had just done 3 to my face and then not attacked, but they did clear the way, so that if they do get 3 damage through, That's the calculation that just happened. All right, I'm going to put Brown Scale into play, which is not generally where you want that guy, but it is a combat object. And if they ever kill it, I can start gaining life. And if they don't kill it, then they're not attacking. And I'm okay with either of those arrangements. Another highway robbery. Both of us, pseudo madness decks. Some snacking over there. Straight up snacking it. Epicure. And Epicure. All right, that's a lot of creatures. Manor Gate. I think I need to commune with the gods here and try to find something good. All right, not a lot going on there. I did find a second brown scale. Vessel of Nascency, crazy slow. All my lands enter tapped. Tilling Tree Folk isn't going to do anything. Yeah, I guess Vessel is the take here. I'll play the Vessel, play another Gate, and pass. And attack here just pushes a bunch of damage through. 2-3, weird stat line. I kind of wish it was a 2-2, or I actually wish it was a 3-1, but it's good for some amount of blocking. Blood Token, sacrificing, Fiery Temper. I have multiple madness cards in my hand I can't trigger, and my opponent has hit me with multiple madness cards this game. They're doing it better than I am right now. Giant Crush of damage. Lava Dart. That's another 4 damage if they want all of it right now. Lava Dart. Okay, I'm exactly dead. GG's. All right, yeah, a little slow, a little awkward roll out there. But that's the deck, get used to it. And I've got some life gain stuff in the sideboard. I think that's about all I want here. I guess Nyxborn Hydra can block the Sneaky Snackers better than most cards in my deck. Mass Vandal's probably mediocre. Kitchen Imp does fly. Crypt Rats. Do I want to take damage to kill my opponent's stuff? Probably not. I want to go bigger than them and gain life, not try to sweep them up. Very Macabre affects the Sneaky Snackers, but I'm not super interested in that. Mono Red is not going to destroy an enchantment, so I can get rid of Evolution Witness. Okay, ways to survive have been added to the deck. Oh, heck yeah. I will keep this. I've got the TortEx. I've got the Brown Scale. The question is, can I get a creature in the graveyard to start the chain? And I actually am going to play my tap land first, because Existence isn't doing anything right now. My opponent's not going to duress me. They're not going to have a counterspell. They're not going to have a disenchant. Okay, Existence. We did it. The namesake's in play. Now can we do anything with it? This is exactly the type of matchup where the Brown Scale thing is completely messed up. Okay. Little Existence flooded here. That's okay. I am going to hold back this Bajuka Bog because my opponent does use their graveyard. It's terrifying that they haven't done anything for 2 full turn cycles. That means their hand is just all gas, all engines, all gutter snipes, and things that'll combo kill me down the road. They suspended a highway robbery. And you can't just discard a card. You do need a target when you announce this. All right, we're creeping. I would honestly love if my opponent kills this Gate Creeper Vine. I don't know why they would, but I would love it if they did. And I'm going to get one of the mana gates, because having lots of black mana is going to be important at some point in this game. There's a Gutter Snipe with the ability to cast multiple spells ready to go. Robbing the highway. Snacker comes directly into play. No chance to bog this guy. Relic of Progenitus, settle down. No. Uh-oh. Sitting on this engine for all this time, and it's not going to matter. Oh, Stinkweed Imp. Actually a good draw. All right, well, I'm going to play the Bog now. It's kind of do or die. Okay, well, I have a Death Touch flyer now. Pseudo Death Touch. Trigger Death Touch. That makes combat difficult for them. It's also not something they really want to put in my graveyard. Though, with Relic of Progenitus, they could muscle through it. Fiery Temper upstairs. I'm at 13. 4 cards still in hand. All right, deck, can we do something here? Gate Creeper Vine. That's not really it. I could introduce the initiative, force some kind of action on combat. The problem is the Relic. All right, well, I'm not winning this game standing still. I'll play the Avenging Hunter. I expect they're just going to bolt the Stinkweed Imp, and if not kill me outright, certainly take the initiative. Tutor a Swamp. Black still is my most important color. Lightning Bolt, my face in the end step. All right, well, they're ignoring the imp, which is actually more scary than if they had bolted the imp. Fire temper. I'm at 3. All it takes is any spell. All right, yep. Well, we almost had it. I mean, this is what I was talking about in the deck tech of this being kind of old and slow and grindy and from a different time. So many pieces were set up here, but we're also in a time where there's multiple very good graveyard decks, which means everybody's going to have graveyard hate, which makes this a little worse positioned. But we saw the pieces coming together there. Like, if I had been able to put anything in the graveyard on any of these turns, Tortured Existence could at least like gain 6 and do a bunch over top of the Relic and then force the action on Relic. And there was almost something going there. Unfortunately, we played a game against Redburn where they didn't have to attack with a single creature ever. Unlucky. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2 with a hand that I'm going to have to mulligan. Here we go. There's a lot of lands and a lot of land tutoring in this deck. I'm fine keeping a 2-lander, but a 1 is a little sketch. Okay. I'm keeping this, and I have to make a bet here. I can bet that we're not against a graveyard deck and bottom Macabre. I can bet we're not against a flying deck, creature deck, and bottom Hydra. Or I could bet that my deck is full of lands, bottom one of these gates, and then keep all the spells. I think Very Macabre is the one that, unfortunately, it's the one that if I want it, goddamn do I want it. But it also means that it's the one I'm least likely to want, but the one that I'm going to want the most if I do actually want it. I hope that made any sense. And if it didn't, shut up, leave me alone. Okay, Creeper Vine. I'm going to get a Basilisk Gate. Do I want to start moving towards that end game? I actually don't. I actually want to bank up black sources, and then I can find a Basilisk Gate basically at my leisure once my engine's online, but my engine is black-based. Speaking of black-based, you could retool this deck to be a refurbished familiar deck because this card is completely nut bonkers, and also I think I'm going to get rid of Cast Down here because I just want an engine. So, like, I actually did consider a version with Refurbished Familiar. I just didn't want to play another Pauper deck on the channel where I'm using the Ichor Wellspring Artifact Land core. Kitchen Imp, Fairy Macabre. They do actually have a Blood Fountain over there. Though Kitchen Imp is a way to punish Refurbished Familiars. I'll take the Imp, actually. All right, Black Dragon Gate. Makes green on the butt. Yeah, I think if you wanted to build the best version of this deck that you could, best version of TortEx in 2026, you would not be doing the gate stuff. You would have artifact lands. You would be centered on Refurbished Familiar, Blood Fountain also. It's kind of a backdoor Tortured Existence where it's a single black non-creature permanent that likes it when there's creatures in your graveyard. That's just something to think about. Okay, Manor Gate. Play that one. I think I want to bestow the Nyxborn Hydra, which might seem like a weird thing to do, but it does completely invalidate these beats, and killing the Gate Creeper Vine doesn't change that. And like I've been saying, all I'm trying to do is get more time. Fanatical Offering. I did consider putting an Eviscerator's Insight in the deck anyway, because that's the one with flashback that milling it over is kind of good, and sometimes you just really need to put a creature in your graveyard, like last game. You need to put a creature in your graveyard, whether you like it or not. All right, opponent giving me the what for with this now bigger Refurbished Familiar. Oh, you're fucked. Nice, all right. Well, Tortured Existence is on the stack. And how hard can we go here? I can discard Brown Scale to get back Macabre. I actually don't have to do anything right now. All right, I'm going to play Black Dragon Gate and just pass the turn. My opponent does know about this Kitchen Imp. They can ambush. They're not going to get ambushed in combat unless they want to be. Ichor Wellspring. Nile Spellbomb. Shut up. I hate you. Yeah, this is the twist of this format. Okay, so if I want to do any... I could do some Tortured Existence stuff now. If I discard Brown Scale to get back Macabre, then discard Kitchen Imp to get back Brown Scale and cast the Imp, that leaves no creatures in my graveyard currently. All right. Fairy Macabre, discard Brown Scale. Brown Scale, discard Imp. I would like to cast this for its Madness cost. Then I get back Ground Scale and I gain 2 life, and then I have to navigate the Spellbomb somehow. Yeah, it's a tough metagame for what we're trying to do. But I did include some artifact removal in the main deck for that reason. And we have achieved stability. Evolution Witness, okay. I can adapt this at instant speed if I need to. This only gets back permanence, unfortunately. I would love to get back Commune with the Gods, but that's illegal. And I'm not a cheater, at least not on Magic Online. Wink, wink. Basilisk Gate would actually be sick here. Then Kitchen Imp's pushing real damage and they have to respond to it. Refurbish Familiar. All right, well, I'll discard Fairy Macabre to that. Fanatical Offering, doing your thing. I think in the end step, I'm going to evolve or adapt Evolution Witness. Not that that's like a big deal, but it is a large creature on this board. And I don't actually want Fairy Macabre back. I'm going to get Black Dragon Gate, as at some point I might have to torture many times over top of a Nile Spellbomb activation. And just more mana helps with that. Okay, another one of these. All right, I'll attack for 4. They could just trade off, but I can accept that. Gate. Pass. Writhing Chrysalis. Don't love that one. Commune with the Gods, okay. Try to make something happen here. Spore Frog. I could grab Spore Frog, or I could get Vessel and keep shredding. The problem is if I overshred, then the Spellbomb just gets better, but I think I actually do want the Vessel. I did also just flip over a Gnaw to the Bone, which is only good for 3 creatures currently. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, put a +1 counter on this creature. That's going to be really big. Makeshift Munitions. That's my favorite card that's legal in Pauper, by the way. That's sarcasm. I hate that card. Okay, I could Vessel in the end step, which is kind of a wide open shot on my graveyard, but it does use my mana better. All right, I'm going to Vessel. I would love for them to spend Spellbomb. Even if it's a pretty good value, I need this out of play before anything works. Oh, Basilisk Gate and Cryptrats. Basilisk Gate. I don't have Trample. I do have Flying, but you have 2 flyers and a reach creature. Yeah, I guess I want Rats here. Okay, and they didn't bomb me in the end step. We're back online. Rats is good for 3, which kills all of my stuff and some of their stuff. Not this one, and not this one. Okay, yeah, they're just huge right now. I do have 2 creatures now, which means I can activate Tortured Existence. Discarding a card's part of the cost. So that makes Nile Spellbomb extra dangerous, but that also means I can do multiple things over the top here. All right, I'm going to try to torture Spore Frog back to my hand. I'm going to need that pretty soon. And if they bomb in response, which they probably should, then I'll start a chain that will result in a bunch of value, and then Spore Frog in play. Okay, Frog's back in my hand. They started to pop it, then realized that it wasn't going to go how they wanted. All right, Spore Frog in play. And Makeshift Munitions makes Spore Frog really embarrassing, because Makeshift Munitions is a totally normal and reasonable card to be legal in Pauper. It's just like a... Sorry for my normal viewers who have heard this one before, but my issue with Makeshift Munitions is that it's just blatantly an uncommon. Just the things that it does in all formats, in all Magic sensibility, this is an uncommon in a format built around commons. And it was downshifted one time in a Commander product for specifically how they wanted to handle whatever it was, like the threaten / Aristocrats draft archetype in exactly that one dumbass commander draft that nobody even did in real life. And now Pauper players are stuck with this. Things are happening. Now I'm just dying. Okay, can't win this game. Gonna board in a bunch of artifact and enchantment removal, and I'm gonna try not to freak out about makeshift munitions if my opponent casts it, though it is horrendous blight on the format. That's otherwise pretty great. Okay, return to nature. This one does what I need it to. That might be about it. I mean, Thorn of the Black Rose could force them into uncomfortable positions. I have a Mass Vandal in the main. I think I'm actually going to cut Knot of the Bone. Like, it's not really about burning me out. It's about slowly grinding me into dust. And if they're able to do that, a short-term burst of life, like 6 or 8 life, isn't going to matter. And they have Nile Spell Bombs, probably 4 of them in the deck. Knot of the Bone might not even gain any life if I cast it. I think I'm going to board out a Gate Creeper Vine. You could probably get away with like 2 of these in the deck. I just wanted to make sure I had lands, but now that I've played a couple of games, I don't think that's my problem. Okay. On the edge here, I like some of what's going on. I don't like that there's not a green source. I'm going to keep. I think I have to take some risks just because I'm playing a deck that's a little behind the curve anyway. And if I'm mulling to 6, looking for lands, and then whatever. I'm a deck full of cards. Deck full of lands. Let's go. And without the cast down, I don't keep this hand. I'm just trying to look for anything that bridges any gap. Wellspring. See, Magic's easy. You were mad at me. But you were wrong. I was right to keep the hand 100% of the time. Ooh. You may put... I don't have to take the Stinkweed Imp. So I won't. I'm just going to say okay and mill them all. Now it's a party. It's a party until they play Nile Spellbomb, then I'm not partying anymore. Cleansing Wildfire, doing the ramp thing. Okay, they didn't have an actual land drop there. They just did the rampant growth thing, and now they're going to discard. I am not going to dredge Stinkweed Imp. I think I'm going to go Tilling Tree Folk. Get back the gates while I can. Play the Manor Gate. Okay, I'm going to pass here. I can shove Avenging Hunter next turn if my opponent's not on the battlefield. Like if they do any kind of setting up here, other than developing a flying creature. Oh, destroying my Basilisk Gate. Bummer. They just saw me pick one of those up. But that is good. That means they're scared of it. So the thing the deck is about is working. And I think I have successfully... I'm not going to dredge into this Spellbomb. I think I have successfully turned the corner on needing the graveyard, and now I can do this instead. I tutor up another swamp. I did think about Troll of Khazad-dûm for the deck. There were thoughts when I was trying to build the deck. If I wasn't doing gate stuff, I would have trolls in the deck instead of the cards I do have. Like the Gate Creeper Vines and stuff. I think Troll is better than that. And Sakura Tribe Elder is some old school Tortured Existence technology you could explore. Opponent spinning the wheels. Still hasn't found a land drop. And we did it. Cool. All we need is for the opponent to draw 6 cards and miss on a land drop. I think I might actually want these Hydras in. And I may have missed them the first time sideboarding. They're just really durable threats, and Trample and Reach are both relevant keywords in this matchup. Spore Frog's awkward because it is part of my engine, and I do want to see it early and often. However, the card Makeshift Munitions makes it completely irrelevant. But I did just board in answers to munitions. I could cut Bajuka Bog. Okay. Yeah, I'll do this. They do have a little bit of graveyard stuff going on in their deck with the Blood Fountains, but I think I have to ignore that and just play Magic. Okay, I can keep this. It does stuff. Dragon Gate. Wellspring from the opponent. Gate Creeper. It's funny because Golgari Guildgate is the same card as Manor and Black Dragon Gate in this deck, but for some reason, when building the deck, I chose to put the complicated ones in instead of the clean ones. It's really all the same thing. I guess playing the Baldur's Gate gates over Golgari Guildgate does potentially signal to your opponent you have some kind of splash in their deck, even though I don't. All right, this turn is going to be pretty important to be useful. Fanatical Offering, they're doing their thing. Unfortunately, Gatecreeper Vine has actual defender. Oh, hell yeah. That was a good one. Now I can return that Spellbomb to nature in a spot where they can't even draw a card off it, much less actually exile a graveyard in any useful capacity. Okay, I hope I can punish that. Commune with the gods. We're about to find out. Gods, please. Another Vine and a Spore Frog. I guess I'll take the Vine. Hit those land drops by hook or by crook. A Wellspring. They tapped 4 mana, then tapped 2 mana instead. That makes me feel like they have the Chrysalis and just took this turn to develop instead. Speaking of taking the turn to develop, now I don't have to play Vine. I could play Evolution Witness. Or I think what I'm supposed to do here actually is Vine for a basic swamp, but play the Gate, and that guarantees 5 mana next turn to jam my card that actually wins the game. Like if they're still over there dirtling with their cards, just getting a game-ending threat on the board. Another Wellspring. That's the dirtle I'm looking for. Not that one. All right, shit. Well, bad news, everyone. I'm going to discard Golgari Brownscale. The graveyard is where I want it. Gixian Infiltrator. That's the one that gets big, but doesn't have any evasion. I'm not going to dredge Brownscale. Ooh, Return to Nature. I obviously can't just shove Avenging Hunter onto this board. I could play Crypt Rats, which kills 2 other things right now. That actually seems sick. It's not very often you get a sweep this strong versus this deck. Single black. They can't sacrifice anything at instant speed. That's the last time Crypt Rats will ever kill a Gixian Infiltrator in all of Magic the Gathering. Fanatical Offering. I just need them to pass the turn without a flyer in play, and I can move forward with my game plan. That's the barrier right now. Yeah, that doesn't fly. I'll Spellbomb. That might matter. I'm not going to dredge Brownscale. Thorn of the Black Rose, pretty cool too. All right, introduce the initiative and hope that they can't kill 3 blockers and attack me all next turn. I don't think that's a thing their deck does. They have a bunch of ways to sweep. Like even on board without a Toxin Analysis, they could still sweep up this situation. But that's not what I'm worried about. They would need like triple Galvanic Blast, like 1, 2, 3. That would be good enough. It's probably worth the squeeze. Writhing Chrysalis. It's been so long at this point that it's impossible to know if I read that correctly 3 or 4 turns ago when they tapped 4 mana the first time, then decided to develop instead. I actually have no idea. But they certainly have it now. Right, sacking the spawns immediately. Second Chrysalis. Okay. And this is the effect of the Avenging Hunter. They may have had all these creatures for so many turns, but they didn't have to deploy them, so they were just being cagey about it. But now they're required. They are going to lose the game to this thing by itself and to this emblem by itself if they don't really start doing it. They have flipped a Nile Spellbomb from Explore, which means this one they can just rip off because they know another one's coming. Okay, do I want to Forge or Lost Well here? It's actually close. I think I want to Forge. Just want to make my creature as big as it can be, even though that's bad against removal. But I do want to make them have removal. Okay, they're sacking Ichor Wellspring to Karklan Shaman in response. They're going to try to stack 4 onto that. Yeah, stack 4 activations. That makes sense. Ooh. Okay, no, that was the 4th one. I was like, what just happened? Fanatical Offering, the guy himself, out from underneath. All right. Well, I can't do anything about any of that. I can draw a card. Basilisk Gate is only as a sorcery. I could dredge Brownscale. I don't think I want to do that. Nah. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in mana here more than anything else. Okay, I can force the issue on... Wait. This Scrabbler only Scrabbles if its madness cost is paid. I was going to try to target Spore Frog and make them do something, but that doesn't work. Okay, what I am going to do is play Thorn of the Black Rose and hold up a removal spell. This is extra deadly because if their 7-card hand does contain a single removal spell, I lose the initiative and the Monarch together. But this is the play that I have. Still not dredging Brownscale. The second Scrabbler. I would love it if they just go to combat without casting any spells. What do you think the chances are? Another Chrysalis. That doesn't matter. Sacking spawns, growing the squad. Krark Clan Shaman. There are only 2 things to sacrifice, right? Oh no, there's all these fucking lands. Never mind. Yeah, I've lost. I think I might actually be dead right now. No, it's just 16. Yeah, I think the massive... I don't know about miscalculation, because Osibus and I were both aware of it. The massive situational thing that came up here is that everyone just has main deck graveyard hate. All right, I am going to play Grave Scrabbler here, because Cast Down doesn't help me anyway, and Scrabbler, just having blocks is good. Like, if my opponent wraths the board and attacks, it doesn't matter whether I have creatures or not. Why didn't I get a creature back? Is this bugged? Hold on. When this creature enters, if its madness cost was paid, you may return target creature card from a graveyard to its owner's hand. This didn't trigger. Is this card that I have a bunch of copies of bugged, as well as playing from behind? All right, I'm dead anyway, but that's disconcerting. I'm going to explore that in between rounds in a solo game and see if that's true or if something weird just happened. Okay, next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I am on the play, and I'm going to keep. And bad news, everyone. Grave Scrabbler is in fact bugged. I found a forum thread on the MTGO bug reports of a bunch of people saying the same thing as recently as a month and a half ago. I'm sure the TortEx people knew that. Pauper is a big Magic Online format, and Tortured Existence, the sickos love it. The people who are dedicated to this deck are... They know. They're out here working, and those of you who knew in the deck tech that that wasn't going to work, sorry to put you through it. So, obviously I'm not going to incinerate the league, but what I am going to do is try to make plans that don't involve Tortured Existence, or don't involve Grave Scrabbler. I have my next mana. Is Commune better? Playing against Elves, pretty terrifying. I am going to need a creature in my graveyard, but I think I have a turn to set up here. Black Dragon Gate, number 2. Yeah, if I can put them in the Infinite Spore Frog, they may struggle with that. Some Elves decks can win through that, through non-combat means, and some can't. A Basilisk Gate, because I want to commune with the gods, and then play Tortured Existence this turn. Ooh. I'll put Mass Vandal in my hand, and Stinkweed Imp in the graveyard, and run out this Existence and hope it doesn't get destroyed. Timberwatch Elf. That guy is a sweaty little punk when compared to my beautiful Spore Frog. I am going to dredge Stinkweed Imp. It's time to get it going. There's the Scrabbler, who would normally be card advantage, but today isn't going to be. Okay, boom. Big game. There is a Brown Scale in the graveyard. Another Timberwatch Elf. Kind of what they can do here is try to deck me. I'm going to block. And here they have to pump Elvish Mystic. I mean, I'll trade with Elvish Mystic. That's fine. Okay, cool. We got an actual removal out of the situation. I'll get back my Spore Frog, discarding Stinkweed Imp. And I'm going to dredge Brown Scale here, not Imp, because decking myself, I think, is a bigger concern than anything else. I have the hooks in. I just need to not lose to myself. Another gate, play Frog, and pass the turn. Okay, so opponent would need here... they may have set up that Elvish Mystic on purpose. Oh, I might have played into Mass Vandal there. Maybe I messed up. We'll find out together shortly who messed up there. All right. I'm not going to block. Blocking, they can just pass priority. I think I might take a turn setting up Avenger. Yeah, just leave Spore Frog in play. I can take 4 or whatever. I did walk into Mass Vandal. That was my own stupid fault. Okay. In response, I don't have the ability to get anything back, or get the Tortured Existence back. I can add a 2/2 to the board. Stinkweed Imp has fake Death Touch. I kind of want that back in my hand. Oh, hold on. The Kitchen Imp got me again. All right, I'll save the Kitchen Imp, and I'll get back Mass Vandal discarding, or get back Kitchen Imp discarding Mass Vandal. Or, I don't know what's happening. I'm saying words, none of them make sense. My apologies. Okay. Opponent got me on the hook there. I thought I got them on the hook, but it was I who was a fool. Oh, right on time, you asshole. That would have blown out the Mass Vandal. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to power up here, which might be crazy, but I'm not winning a game where I sit on my heels either. Your own Avenging Hunter. Stop! Man, Pauper decks are so well constructed these days. And these Timberwatch Elves can certainly make blocks good enough here. I need to draw Cast Down. That's what needs to happen. Another Spore Frog. That's not what I wanted. All right, I'll gas up my Avenging Hunter. It's a 9/8. Their Timberwatch Elves just beat it. That didn't make any sense. I'm crashing out here, honestly. I'm going to take a moment, collect my thoughts, and stop being crazy. All right, a flying creature is better than ramming into that. They do have a creature with reach. I found a second Spore Frog. I have collected myself internally and will now try to play the game better. I'm not going to block or frog. If they start pumping it, I'll frog, because the trap is going to deal 5 next turn. Okay, I'm at 10. Priest of Titania. Another brown scale. Okay, I'll cast this haste creature, which means that I will get the initiative back, unless they have a trick. This is the entire plan. And they get to eat that with block plus pump. But the important part has transpired. Am I forging or am I lost welling? I think I need to go into the lost well. I'm a control deck here. Ooh, double cast down. Top. That gives me some hope for the future. And I'll run out the bonus frog. They can, of course, just play another Avenging Hunter. Winding Way. Hit 3, 2 priests and an Ent. Ent has reach. Ent also dies to cast down, so that's okay. Ent. Alright, all I can do here is frog. That is required. Okay, I could goad target creature. I think I actually want to do that. A treasure doesn't matter here. Drawing an extra card next turn might. Yeah, I'm going to goad a creature. The trick with elves is that all their creatures can just tap themselves if they want to. I'll goad the generous Ent. That way it's at least not available as a blocker. Golgari brown scale, get in there. It's something on the board. We'll take it. And if I can cast down their Trampler, that buys me a lot of time versus all their other stuff. Something's happening in the end step. Oh, just the food. That's fine. That's fine. Deal. Lead the Stampede. Horrific. Just no more Avenging Hunters. Anything else is fine. Nyx Born Hydra. That one gives trample. That one's less fine. Quarian Ranger. I hope they try to shove the Hydra onto Avenging Hunter, but that wouldn't make any sense. That one already has trample. They should put it on the end. They are going for the giant fireball here, though. Okay, they put it on that one. That doesn't change anything that I have to do. Oh, now I just have to Spore Frog. Oh, okay, they didn't attack with it. Wow. All right. That means I can cast down this Trampler and block this thing without trample with my Death Touch creature. Or even better with my brown scale. Is that better? Does that matter? Do I want the Death Touch creature? No, I want your stuff dead. Okay, that's going to bridge me into the Throne of the Dead 3. And I'm drawing cast down this turn, plus another card. Then I'll be in the Throne next turn. Which may or may not matter. It's not like I'm a legacy deck where there's some crazy thing in the Throne that wins the game on the spot. Like, I can't high roll a Solitude. There's cast down. I don't want to dredge my creatures. I'm trying to draw Tortured Existence. Well, I drew Tortured Existence. Let's go. All right. 1, 2, 3. Evolution Witness. But I know they have a Mass Vandal in their hand, which means that I have to dance around this a little bit. Like, I can't just put it into play right now, which is what I want to do. But next turn, I could play the Tortured Existence, they go to Masked Vandal it, and then I can exile creatures from their graveyard, and then pick up Fairy Macabre, exile more creatures, and the Masked Vandal can fizzle. There's a chance? You're saying there's a chance? Did we navigate it? All right, have to just frog fog this universe. Okay, I get to enter the Throne of the Dead 3. Nyxborn Hydra, Crypt Rats. Oh. Crypt Rats with extra power and toughness is a particularly messed up situation. Though they do have this, like, 14-15 just sitting in the back. But it has Trample, so Death Touch isn't going to matter. Yeah, I guess I want Crypt Rats. Even though I don't really want Crypt Rats. I will dredge Golgari Brownscale. And there are 2 creatures in their graveyard right now. Tortured Existence. I have to twist up the frog. Am I going to be a card short? I am going to be a card short, aren't I? Or if no creatures die, if they can't put any creatures into their graveyard, then I'm exactly okay. Okay, Masked Vandal. When this enters, you may exile. Okay, that ability is on the stack. Fairy Macabre. Exile 2 creatures from your graveyard. I can't see on board a way for them to kill one of their own creatures on purpose. Cycling the end. They got me. All right. Well, we're back, folks. Back in the trash. And I'm a creature short of being able to use Tortured Existence to pick that back up. Sad. We almost had it all. And you're on Avenging Hunter. Ugh. I needed that initiative. Okay, my Spore Frog has to attack next turn. Isn't it just going to die right now when you attack with your 15-15? 2 appearances in the same game of Constructed of the Arena being used in the dungeon. Gingerbread Cabin. They have Gingerbread Cabin plus Quirion Ranger going off. Having used Quirion Ranger, though, that means that Timberwatch Elves have 2 shots this round, not 3. They didn't make me Frog. I guess that makes sense because Frog's going to die anyway. How do I want to approach this? I think I have to just Rats for 2 in the end step. The Spore Frog's dying anyway. I can't get through this 15 power creature. Right, if I can mess up most of their board, that's a start. The Timberwatch Elves can save themselves. Oh, 1 elf saved Quirion Ranger instead. Okay. I killed a lot of things. Not enough. Dredging here is not going to help me. Not of the bone. Once again, you're saying there's a chance. Rats for 5 doesn't help. They do have a Timberwatch Elf activation here because of Quirion Ranger. Cast Down could push me through into the initiative, but I don't think that matters this turn. I could Rats for 2 again, and that would kill either Quirion Ranger or Timberwatch Elf. And none of my stuff. This is kind of annoying. A Crypt Rats with actual stats on it. I could have ratted for 2 again in response to the untap and definitely killed him, but that kills my whole board and also me. Yeah, I have no way to take the initiative after that happens. Okay. Passing the turn. I could attack with everything now and get the initiative. Does that do anything? That kills me. I lose to Nyxborn Hydra next turn, is what that does. All right. There's no action there. I can gain 40 life over the next 2 turns, if that's even good enough, which is a crazy thing to say. Okay, I'm going to cast down Masked Vandal, which leaves the Hydra behind, but it does fall out of combat. I'm not just dead here. And I can do a double pump on the Rats. End step, Rat for 2, my turn, Rat for 2, then Timberwatch Elf is dead. There's still a 14 power trample creature. Okay, that happened. I could dredge Stinkweed Imp here to have the Death Toucher. They're about to go into the Throne. Yeah, I think I need the Death Touch creature. A Stinkweed Imp that did net 1 creature in my graveyard as well. I can gain 22, which might not be enough. This Gingerbread Cabin's gained 9 or 12 life already. Okay, Throne. Quirion Ranger is the one I'm worried about personally. There is one in there. Let's see if that's the choice my opponent makes. They picked a 2nd Avenging Hunter. Okay. That's kind of like the big balls party play versus the clever play of Quirion Ranger, keeping Hydra plus Timberwatch going. Winding Way. That found another Masked Vandal. They play a lot of those, it turns out. Masked Vandal, that doesn't have any targets, it's just an elf. Okay, 2 big ones attacking. I'll block the biggest one with this, and I actually have to do math here. So this is 19 plus 4, that's 23 trample. I can gain 22. I'm at 27. I could double block this Avenging Hunter. Do I have enough blocks that actually kill the Hunter? Is the problem. It can have 8 toughness. All right, I do have those blocks if I want them. And I guess I do. A Knot of the Bone from the top rope. Opponent doesn't need to pump because I'm dead anyway. I'm not sure how I actually win this game, but I can make it last another turn. Okay, I'm at 14 life. The Hydra is handled. They have this 8/7 hexproof, and they still have the initiative, but I can gain another 20-something life on my turn and dredge up another flying death touch creature. Hey, do I have to do that? Well, I can activate Gate, which if I activate Rats for 3 and activate Gate onto Brown Scale, that kills their Mass Vandals and their Timberwatch Elf. I go to 11. They are about to enter the Forge. They can put me to 1 immediately. Or no, the Rats hurts me too. Or I said that, right? Yeah, I go to 11. They can attack me back for 10 after I take the initiative, which would get me a basic land. I could dredge Brown Scale just for the life buffer to make this last another turn. Okay, I'm actually going to do that. And then it's buff the Brown Scale, Rat for 3, attack. They're not going to block. If I attack with 1 thing, they would block. If I attack with 2, they won't. Okay, unless they value the Crypt Rats over the being able to challenge the initiative back. Okay, cool. I like that block. I mean, I like it for me. I tutor an extra Swamp. 19 cards left in my deck. Knot of the Bone. The Basilisk Gate actually kicking in here, doing the thing. There's that Priest of Titania that's been in the hand for 8,000 turns. All right, dumping out a bunch of shitters. And here I would like to go into, I think it's the Lost Well. Just finding a high impact card here is so real. Like that one. Bojuka Bog to the bottom, Tortured Existence to the top. I will not be dredging. And guess what? From the top rope, with the Brown Scale ready to go, give me that Spore Frog. I wish I could get Grave Scrabbler and get some extra juice on this turkey, but that would be asking too much. And I guess I'll just keep pushing with this 6/7/6/7 Golgari Brown Scale. Gotta win somehow. 18 cards in my deck, so dredging a Brown Scale every turn is going to actually apply to the race. Ooh, I think you should be attacking there. If you don't attack, then I don't have to frog, and if I don't have to frog, then I don't have to spend my next turn digging up frog. I will go into the stash this time. I don't want to goad my opponent. Actively not interested. And I'm not going to dredge because I wasn't required to. Found a Spore Frog anyway. Life is good. Brown Scale, get in. This has been a phenomenal game of Magic. Whichever way it goes from here. All right, they're in the chump mode. Got them in the Abyss. Yeah, they're trying to deck me now. That's their plan. So I probably have to... Can I get through the trap twice before I'm decked? Probably not. Sagu Wildling. All right, well, that's a flying creature that gains 3 life. Land Grant, hard cast on turn 16 of a game. Is there a forest left to get? It is kind of helpful to cast a card like that at a stage like this in a game, because you just get to remind yourself what's even left in your deck while you're searching. And I'm not sure why I'm not being attacked, but I'll take it. I'll gain a casual 30 life or so. I'll make a spooky skeleton. Send shivers down your spine. Okay. I am going to dredge Grave Troll here. Or not Grave Troll, Brown Scale. Yeah, Grave Troll. Famed Pauper card. Golgari Grave Troll. Okay, Eva Witness can get me multiple things over time. I think I just want the Avenging Hunter now. I say that as I click on fucking Evolution Witness. Good job, me. I don't know what's going on in my brain right now, but nothing good is the answer. All right, pass the turn. Throne of the Dead 3 will reveal 2/3 of my library to my opponent. And not even the flyer attacking. Okay. Throne of the Dead 3. Pop off. What's even left? Are there still creatures in my deck? I don't think opponent recognizes the real cost of dredging to give it back Spore Frog every turn at this phase of the game. For me, like, I think that is the most likely way that they have to win this game. Oh, Nyxborn Hydra. Oh, right. That was Throne of the Dead 3. That was not going into my hand. Okay. It's fine. I don't know what's going on. Grave Scrabbler. One of the best cards in my deck that doesn't work. Sweet. All right. Well, what do I want to do now? I can gate onto the Menace creature. This requires some challenging blocks or just 5 damage to your dome. 7 minutes left on my clock. This is game 1, by the way. All right, I'm going to adapt in the end step and get back the Avenging Hunter. Just looking for some more trample. Yeah, search my deck for a basic land. There are some forests left in there. I would normally take the time to look and see what's even left, but it doesn't matter. That's not worth more than the time I would spend looking. Tilling Tree Folk. Probably good for a couple Basilisk Gates here. Basilisk Gate, Basilisk Gate. A gate 1 to jam up this Trampler. And then I also have a treasure left over from all those years ago where I went through that room of the dungeon. Bang! What an incredible game. They're blocking with everything, or as much as you need to. Yeah, I think they're just playing to the clock for the rest of the match at this point. Generous end. All right, the clock continues. Probably should have attacked with Skeleton also last turn. That kills 2 things. The 3rd Basilisk Gate. Buff the Trampler. Buff the Trampler. I don't need to buff it this many times, but I don't have time to count. Counting's for nerds anyway. Sick. Now I have to win game 2 in 6 minutes. That sounds possible. At least I have sweepers now. Nyxborn Hydra, pretty big deal. The trample matters. Chainer's Edict is super awkward. It's not for this matchup, but I think almost anything that's a removal spell should be considered. I'll board out the Grave Scrabblers. That's now a new place in my sideboard map. Very Macabre does matter versus Mass Vandal in certain situations, but I think I just have to accept the cost of doing business on Mass Vandals and time my Tortured Existence turns appropriately. Treat it like a 6-mana sorcery instead of as a 1-mana enchantment that stays in play. Just the turn where I'm ready to do many things. Let it rip. Gatecreeper Vine. I should leave in my Masked Vandal because they probably have Graveyard Hate. Crypt Rats was a phenomenal. Crypt Rats essential in winning that game. And I guess Bojuka Bog. Though playing Bojuka Bog does reset all the Masked Vandals while hitting a land drop. I like that a lot more than I like Fairy Macabre. At least Bojuka Bog is just tucked in my mana base where it does other things where Macabre only does that. Though 2/2 flying might actually be huge in this match. Yeah, I think I'll cut another Creeper Vine and hope my mana shows up on its own. That was a great showcase of the deck, though. Both Basilisk Gate and the Spore Frog loop mattered that game. Proof of concept for the deck. We did it. Quick mulligan on this one. I'm going to have to play this game kind of fast and hopefully not too loose. Deck, please. Going to 5. For real? 4. I'll keep. I actually think it's better for me to go to game 3 and try to play with 7 cards than it is to spend a single second on this game. That is not a decision I would make normally, but with 6 minutes on the clock, that's how I'm doing it. And now I'm on the play too, sucker. Mulligan. Okay. Keep. I'm going to bottom one of these. I think I'm going to bottom Forest. Gate, go. But I have to hope their turn 2 is not too completely deranged. Gate, pass. They do have a number of X2 creatures. If they dump out a ton of X1s, that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Like if they play Priest of Titania and something else. Nope. All right, well, I am just going to have to sweep now then. I will suffocate these fumes while it's still an option. Cycling Ent will hit the next forest. Arbor Elf's in. Ooh. Someday that might help, but today is not that day. I'm going to put a lot of stock into this Flying Haste creature. That's kind of my whole plan right now. Finding way named creatures and hit an Avenging Hunter. Arbor Elf, so they are showing Avenging Hunter next turn. Flying Haste kind of matters. Communing with Gods. I'll take the turn to do this. Spore Frog, my own Avenging Hunter. I'll take a Frog. Play Gate. I guess, do I want the Tortured Existence out there now? I don't think that I do. I want the Frog out there now. Okay. If my opponent creates the initiative this turn, then I can take it with a haste creature and then go into the Frog protection hole, the Frog Zone. A lot of creatures over there, none of them have reach. Ooh, all right, well, that could be useful someday. Tortured Existence, get back Spore Frog, discarding Kitchen Imp. This one does work. All I have to do is cast it. Okay, Flying Haste. The initiative is mine. Spore Frog in my hand. Play Spore Frog. Attack, get the initiative, make my land drop, pass the turn very quickly. I don't have a dredge creature, which matters here, as I could run out of juice on these Spore Frogs, even though I have existence plus double frog going. And unfortunately, I can't F6 on their turn because Spore Frog is part of the plan. Masked Vandal. Okay, that's going to have to resolve, and I'm actually going to take this opportunity now to bank a Spore Frog, because I don't know how many I'm going to get. And it is their turn. Combat damage is off. That's what I needed. And I am going into the Forge and the Trap. I'm just trying to kill my opponent this game. Both because I think that's the correct posture for my actual board position, and because of the game we're playing. The speed of the game we're playing is not trivial. Okay, I could Fumes. This Cast Down is kind of tempting. I think I want to use Cast Down as an extra Spore Frog, though. Like, they'll probably attack with their trample creature, and I could just pick it off rather than have to do anything else about it. And if they play a reach creature, like if this is Generous Ent, that's much more important for me to kill. Okay. And kill it I shall. Jasper Sentinel, another reach creature, bummer. Okay, Frog. End step, Cast Down, Generous Ent. And I'm going to Fumes now, because that makes Timberwatch Elf plus Jasper Sentinel not kill my Kitchen Imp. Okay. They valued the elf. Or, no, shit. Those were both 1/2s. That didn't matter at all. Like I said, crashing out. I don't know what's going on right now. To another Swamp. That's not super helpful. All right. Yeah, I did that for no reason. Pass the turn. Life is pain. Okay. I guess Frogging is all I can really do here. I get to draw an extra card next turn, and I have to hope it's really good. Like Tortured Existence plus Golgari Brownscale off the top, double top deck. Archive, draw a good one. Commune with the Gods. All right, well, can we flip over that last Spore Frog? Tortured Existence, but no creature to go with it. Oh, wait, I could go into the Throne of the Dead 3 right now. Yeah, I have to play this game ugly. I probably would have taken the Tortured Existence and just let them have the initiative and try to figure it out next turn if this game was going to go any longer than it is. All right, flip the Spore Frog. 3/3 Spore Frog with Hexproof. Crypt Rats. You're saying there's a chance. All right, they might just die to Crypt Rats, even with the initiative. Pass the turn. You're up. This is 5 plus 8. That doesn't kill me. Forging doesn't matter at that point. I could block and demand Fatal, or no, that doesn't matter. All right. All right, you're the initiative. I'm F6'd. Here we go. 2 minutes left to deal 9 damage. Oh, it's actually 12. That's the food actually matters a lot. Inhorn Elves. Masked Vandal. All right, deck. Big draw. Cast down. Basilisk Gate. You're not kidding. Okay. Basilisk Gate. Gate. My Avenging Hunter. The trample one. And then I'm going to activate Crypt Rats for 2. I'm going to do this 2 at a time. I'm going to activate it for 2 again in response. They've got 2 Timberwatch Elves. That elf is targeting Masked Vandal now. Okay, so that one will survive. And Crypt Rats is dying here anyway, so here we go. 1 more for the road. Let's reduce the elf count in response to all this. Something is happening. I hope they're just cracking the food. All right, I have not done the math, but I hope it's good enough. It looks good. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What a battle. That was an awesome match. Insane games. GG's. The deck finally did the damn thing, and it was beautiful. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the draw in round 4. This hand is pretty suspicious. And having the existence is a big deal. I'm actually going to keep this. Like, the dredge creatures, the vessel, in most things other than lands are fine draws here. I'll sneak this existence in before their counterspells work. Turn 1 Delver is not really what I wanted to see, but drawing Cast Down is exactly what I wanted to see. Okay, Delver flipped. Binding Brainstorm, Cycling Lorien. Sometimes these decks have Spell Pierce and Dispel, but they always have Counterspell, so I think I'm just going to rip off the Cast Down right now. Yeah, whatever. That was going to get me no matter when I did that. Another Delver. And they can use Brainstorm to flip this Delver, which I think they probably should. Stinkweed Imp's actually a great draw here. They can't Spell Pierce it, and it does block and trade. Brainstorm happened. Second existence. Let me see if I could trick them into Spell Piercing this. Didn't work. All right, I'm going to bog them now so I don't get terrored next turn. Thought Scour flipped. Might still get terrored this turn. I don't have a lot of ways to recover from this anymore. Even if I draw Crypt Rats, it's going to be a turn behind Spore Frog. You don't say. Do you have Counterspell? Please don't. Though, even if you do, I have Tortured Existence, so I can Spore Frog again. That's not a big deal. Okay. Develop the gate. Now there is a creature in my graveyard. I'm close to getting the engine going. Is 2 any different from 8 in this matchup? If they have Snap, 2 is different than 8. All right, I'm going to take it and just hope that Mono Blue can't burn me out. Ponder. 2 is different than 8 if I draw Crypt Rats. Okay, there was an actual reason where 2 is different than 8. Cycling Lorien revealed after casting Ponder. There's the land. 4 cards still in hand. Where'd all those cards come from? Ground Scale. Another frog, let's go. Okay. I suspect they have to counter Avenging Hunter, but I'm trying to flush things out, and if they don't have the counter, they're in a lot of trouble. Playing the second frog would have played around Snap, but I decided when I didn't crack frog last turn that I was ready to lose to Snap. Okay, I am initiated. Get another swamp, and I'm not going to attack with frog. Sometimes they have like the Brine Barrow dope who can ambush a 1/1 and actually kill it in combat. I don't think Terror plays that card. That's more of a Fairies card, but it doesn't matter. I'm still not going to rumble with the one thing I have going on here. Okay, they got frogged. I'm going to go into Lost Well here. Sleep of the Dead. All right, well, that wasn't attacking anyway. Well, it was going to attack, but it wasn't going to, buff up. Okay, can Tortured Existence do its job here? Lost Well. If I find any creature, we're gaming. Commune with the Gods. That's really good. Okay, I'm going to go top. Because if they counter the Commune, I'll just play the Spore Frog, and then I draw a creature next turn anyway. This is kind of just a free spot to try to high roll something better. Like a Stinkweed Imp, perhaps. I'll put Stinkweed Imp in my hand. The rest of these in the graveyard. Cast Spore Frog from my hand. if they counter this, I can loop and get another one. All right, I'm just going to get the other one now anyway, because I want to be dredging Stinkweed Imp pretty much the rest of the game. The hooks are in, team. A counterspell on that one. They'd need a 1 mana unsummon at this point. I guess if they have counterspells for the next several turns, they're fine. I do only have one thing per turn. Frog must frog. Born to frog. World is a fuck. 10,000 tortured existences. I am Frogman. Okay, they tapped out of counterspell here. That's great. I'm going to dredge Imp. I'm also going to go into the stash just because I don't want to goad anything. Or I do want to draw an extra card next turn. All right, I will go into the arena. I'll goad your 6/5. Might even trade my 5/4 for it. Who knows? The night is young. Stinkweed Imp dredged. It hit a brown scale. That's awesome. Okay. Get back brown scale with Stinkweed Imp. Just gain a little bit of life here. And then Tortured Existence. Get back Frog. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm a mana short of getting Witness this turn. Okay, I don't think there's a 1 mana counterspell in Pauper that could get me here. Oh, I also drew a Knot of the Bone. I'm just going to rip that off while we're here. Sick. Alrighty. Flashing back, Sleep of the Dead. That's fine. I wasn't actually going to block because it was going to deal 0 damage. Didn't matter. Frog. Yeah, I think for my 2 draws next turn, I'm going to dredge both my dredgers. All right, opponent is all in here. I'm going to go into the archive. Dredge the Imp first. Then for my actual draw, I'll dredge Brown Scale. And that's a double creature setup party forever. I would like back my Witness. And then I'm going to get Frog back here. But I can gain 2 life first. Gain 2 life. Get back Frog. Hell yeah. Next turn I'm in the throne. And I have this floating whatever I need it to be, Evolution Witness. Just casually back up to 18 life. Remember when I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to 2? Life is funny sometimes. All right, Sleep of the Dead. My Witness, sure. I wasn't going to block with that either. Frog. Here we enter the Throne of the Dead 3. Crypt Rats is a pretty big game. There is Crypt Rats. There's also Stinkweed Imp. Yeah, I'm going to get Crypt Rats. And I'm going to dredge Brown Scale. Get back Frog. Even if they've come up with a counter spell, the Witness has that covered. I think I sequenced this turn poorly. I think I'm supposed to attack first, level this up, get back another Frog. Okay. Well, luckily for me, my opponent was okay with me sequencing the turn poorly. Okay, now I get Frog back. And then I activate Crypt Rats for 2. And then I play Frog after killing half their board. None of my stuff dies. Heck yeah. Now they're actually in trouble. For the last 5 or 6 turns, they've just been not in great shape. Now they're actually at risk of dying. Deep analysis, let's go. Pretty good rip. And now I'm at the point where I don't even really have to Spore Frog. Like if they do come up with a counterspell, it doesn't end me. But they're actually dead on board, so this attack is wild. Okay, back at the top of the Undercity. Get another Swamp. Dredge Brown Scale. And I will attack with all my creatures and see if my opponent is deceased. I don't know how they wouldn't be. Yeah, exact damage. Beautiful. When it all comes together, it's nice. Okay, Chainer's Edict. This is the matchup it's for. Nyx Bloom Hydra is okay here. Nile Spellbound matters a little bit, but as we saw, it's not really my job to stop them from having terrors. It's my job to make terror irrelevant. And Graves Crabbler not working is making sideboarding really easy. Shout out to that. A Masked Vandal is a potential answer to Graveyard Hate, which they kind of need to beat me. Do I want to bring in Return to Natures just as extra Graveyard Hate, counter hate? Because as we saw, once this engine kicks in, counterspells just don't matter anymore. Fairy Macabre, I think, can go out. Return to Nature is also targeted Graveyard Hate, if that somehow matters. Like they do have Sleep of the Dead, Deep Analysis, some stuff like that. It's fringe. That's not really what it's for. But I am aware of it. All right, I don't think I want 2 of those. Here we go. This could also be a Thorn of the Black Rose match. Maybe I should have brought that in. Keep This Thorn is just a death touch creature. And if we do survive the early rush, or they don't have an early rush, they don't always have double Delver. That's also, there's only 4 Delvers in the deck. They're mostly a medium speed kind of thing. All right, Delver. Oh, they either have Spell Pierce and they were playing around turn 1 TortEx, or they just drew that. I'm going to choose to believe that they have Spell Pierce in their hand until I'm convinced otherwise. I'm going to get the Basilisk Gate. That one comes in untapped. That could be useful at some point, and I have plenty of colors. Brainstorm. And when you're bestowing Nyxborn Hydra, it can be spell pierced. It is an aura spell. That's the words on that card. Thought Scour revealed. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Counterspell is up now, though, which I'm not a big fan of. I think I might just go 2/3 Hydra. No bestow. If they spend Counterspell on this, that's fine. They can't spell pierce it. A null. All right, well, that would have got me either way. That also checks the box of playing around spell pierce, playing around a null. Didn't end step Thought Scour. Oh, because they knew Mental Note was there. That makes sense. Okay. They did have that information. They're big beats. We've been in this position before. Disappointing. All right, yeah, they got a Serpent in on me before this Bajuka Bog could come down. Now that's just not the plan anymore. Okay, I'm going to go 1/2 Commune, looking for a Spore Frog. Didn't find one. Crypt Rats could eventually solve my problem here. I mean, it's a lot of beats in between, but there's a Crypt Rats in my hand. Delver did not flip. A rare opportunity to breathe. I'm going to chump Cryptic Serpent. I'm at 4. Thought Scour. No, not another one of those. Uh-oh. Okay, opponent has 1 card in hand. I guess I should get back Nyxborn Hydra. Discarding Brown Scale. If I dredge Brown Scale, I go to 6, but if I have to get Rats, I go to back down. What do I need to do here? It's 1, 2, 3 for Rats, 1 for Nyxborn Hydra. Yeah, I'm a mana short of... Saying stabilizing is a little egregious here. I guess I'm going to dredge Brown Scale and hope it rolls over a Spore Frog. Avenging Hunter is not the one. Can I survive this turn? I think it's no. Yeah, because without being able to activate Rats, I just die to the Flyers. Okay. All right, a mana short of seeing another turn there. Good one. Okay, a null. Throne of the Black Rose will be really bad until it's really good, but that's also true of Avenging Hunter, which is a card that I have a lot of faith in. I think I'm going to cut Return to Nature. I don't know if they actually even have Graveyard Hate or if they're just on Annulls and Spell Pierces to mess me up. But I can't afford that many bad draws in the deck. All right, I'll keep this. Opponent's also on 7. Leaving up that scary 1 blue mana. Unfortunate draw. That would have been much better last turn. But now I have to wiggle it into play rather than just park it there. Thought Scour, Mill Deep Analysis, the nuts, Splinter Twin combo. I think Evolution Witness is a cool place to start. That's just kind of a solid thing that they may or may not actually counter. Annul and Spell Pierce miss it. If they spend actual counterspell, I'm fine. If it's in play, I'm reasonably happy. Just there's not that many ways this can go wrong. Yeah. Think of it as a Duress targeting counterspell, and we'll be pretty happy with the play. Duress is also a card I consider for this deck, and then just didn't really have a place for it. Kitchen Imp. The beats are coming. I'm playing this game very strangely because of how my opponent's playing the game. Heck yeah, damage. Rainstorm. Like if my opponent sees how weird I'm playing the game and then panics and taps out for a turn, that's pretty nice for me. Multiple Nyxborn Hydras. How many of these can I play? I could bestow 1, and then I actually... They do have to interact with this, or else I just get a trade with Cryptic Serpent. Okay, used Counterspell on that. That might have been for mana efficiency. Like they might still be holding a null and planning to do multiple things on a future turn. Delirium Terror. Cryptic Serpent. Yeah, this is the turn that they may have been holding a null for. Oh, Bajuka Bog, thanks for showing up after You would have been worth 11 mana last turn. Now you're worthless. There is a deep analysis in the graveyard, though, that my opponent also didn't flash back. That might be noteworthy. Maybe it's not. Okay, I'm going to try to bestow a Hydra again. If they have a counterspell, that's bad. If they don't have a counterspell, it's also bad, but at least I get to kill a Cryptic Serpent. Mental note. Alright, I'm going to block a Serpent. I go to 3. I have a chump in play. This is the turn to draw a creature and for them to not have a counterspell. Tortured Existence. I mean, I'm already dead. I just want to know if they had the counterspell. Yeah, without a creature to start the chain, this is just a 0. Yeah, alright. Well, just dead. GG. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in the final round. This hand is actually really tempting, but I am going to mulligan it. Okay, here we go. Keep. And I think I want to put Basilisk Gate to the bottom. I just have enough lands, and even though Grave Scrabbler doesn't actually work, it's still actually a creature. Like, it doesn't work in terms of grave digging, but if I get Tortured Existence going, it is still a 2-for-1. It's a 2/2 creature I get while picking up something else. Black Dragon Gate. Drawing Forest is actually kind of nice, so I can turn to Commune or Gate Creep. Alright, opponent is showing Counterspell mana, so I'll play the card I don't actually care about. Yeah, alright. Love seeing that countered. Another Contaminated Aquifer. Okay, this one I care a little more about if it gets countered, but it is the spell I have, so I will cast it. Heck yeah. Alright. Tortured Existence is coming to my hand, and then all this other stuff goes to the graveyard. And I'm going to play Manor Gate. I don't think Duress is super common in main decks, just in general in Pauper right now. End-step Brainstorm. They're trying to do something. Might be a Lorien revealed over there. This is probably Dimir Terror. It's a little slower. It's like a Gurmag Angler deck. I'm just holding this Bojuka Bog until I think it's going to be the highest impact. I could Dredge Brownscale and then just cast it. Play Dredge as Garfield intended. Alright. 2/3 creature on the battlefield. I will make you respect me one way or another. Bojuka Bog. It's just the best land for me to play here, even though this might be kind of mid. I didn't snag any sneaky snackers or anything with it. Cast down in response to Bojuka Bog trigger, so they don't care about that cast down being in the graveyard. Or they just didn't think of it and we're getting F6 value. Contaminated Landscape. Where's this game going? What are we doing here? 5 mana. Okay, just jamming off Lorien Revealed. I actually love that because those 3 cards are not worth more than Tortured Existence, and now I don't have to play around anything. Dredge Brownscale. Existence. Boy, I wish Grave Scrabbler worked, but here we are. Okay, I'm going to pick back up Evolution Witness and just cast it while counterspells aren't on. Just investing in cards in the future. Dimir, not a color. That color pairing that's pretty good at answering enchantments. Abandoned Attachments, discard a card, draw 2. Discarded Snacker, there it is. I happen to have Fairy Macabre in my hand. That's fortunate for me. I will take that thing out, actually. The tech coming together, finally. Alright, Snacker's gone. And just like that, it's my turn again, and I'll dredge Golgari Brownscale. I found a Stinkweed Imp off of that. The dredging will continue until morale improves. Hard casting Snuff Out. I'll respond by activating this, of course. Get my cards back. I could get back Vessel of Nascency and have a big dig. Or I could get Nyxborn Hydra, which is just probably a pretty good card. I'll take the Hydra. And then, is there any reason to do stuff now? No. Yeah, I can cast Grave Scrabbler in their end step. Getting back Evolution Witness. With the TortEx, obviously, not with the Scrabbler. Sneaky Snacker, down and dirty, there it is. Dimir Aqueduct. I should probably expect Bojuka Bogs out of this deck at some point, which means I shouldn't make any super long-term plans around the graveyard. I should use the graveyard while I have it, but also not just assume it's going to be there forever. Activating Landscape. End step. It would actually be great if they wanted to counter the Scrabbler, thinking it was going to be a 3-for-1 instead of just a 2-for-1. Come on, counterspell. We did it, team. The Grave Scrabbler was full value one way or another. That is a terrifying card, which is why it's in the deck. Consider, in response to existence, dumped an island. Witness is back. I will dredge an imp. There's a Crypt Rat, so that's a serious card. A Evolution Witness, and do I want to do existence stuff here? I could. Oh no, I can't bestow. I can bestow. It would be bestow for 0. That's not very useful. All right, I won't bestow. I think I actually just want to hit a land with my witness here. That's the thing I can do. I could get Basilisk Gate or a Swamp. Basilisk Gate starts turning the corner. Swamp lets me existence this turn. All right, I'll take the Swamp. Engines. The engine is turning. Played an island. These islands look really cool, by the way. Snuff out that one. Okay, it did its job. Spending mana on that, or spending life on that's pretty scary with all that mana up. They have 8 mana. Yep, that is the 5 mana spell that I would read off of a life cast Snuff out in this spot. A tortured existence. Target. Witness. Discard Brown Scale. Dredge Brown Scale. I hit a Spore Frog. Okay, Witness on the stack. Is this worth a counterspell to you? It seems so. Okay. Can I do anything better this turn? I can get back Kitchen Imp, discarding Brown Scale. And then I can get back Witness, discarding and casting Imp. Pretty cool. All right, Imp going in. I'm way ahead of the damage race here. I'm not worried about that at all. And any chip shot I can get makes this Crypt Rats lurking in my graveyard a bigger threat as the game goes along. Augur of Bolus, time to look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck. Ooh, it did find a Dispel. Okay. For all the instants that are in my deck. I think I have 4 instants in my deck, and I've used one of them already. Okay, they're still interested in a damage race. Don't want to trade Sneaky Snacker on defense. All right, abandoned attachments. Can they get another Snacker through while I don't have mana? No. Okay, good. As long as I have a mana for Tortured Existence, Snackers don't work because I could just pick up the Fairy Macabre in my graveyard. But that was a window, and they discarded the Dispel that Bolus had found. I hit another Brown Scale. Now I have the pay a black, gain 2 life loop available to me, which is really hard for fair decks to race. All right, let's flush out another counterspell. Evolution Witness, number 4 or 5 of the game. Oh yeah, keep duressing those counterspells away. I think I kind of want Gatecreeper Vine here, because that can tutor Basilisk Gate and really start bashing. And it lets me use my mana this turn, all of which are things I like. My opponent also did counter one of these on turn 2. If we can get another counterspell out of it. Oh, not that counterspell. That one's actually good. Bummer. All right. Fine. Spellstutter Sprite revealed. No! All right, there it is. That hurts. We got some rebuilding to do, but I do have Stinkweed in my hand, which when I cast it, whether they counter it or kill it or attack into it, it doesn't matter. It all goes where I want it. Consider, kept a card on top. Augur of Bolus. Finds Lorien revealed. Oh my god, here we go. Leaving back Snacker. Time to take a defensive posture, it seems. Ripping off that Lorien revealed. Basilisk Gate. That's a nice one. It's even nicer because if I bestow first, they won't know it's coming. Yeah, I'm just going for crushing beats at this point. All right, this is a giant trample swing. Even if they kill the Kitchen Imp, I have a second giant trample swing in play with the bestowed Hydra. Right, choosing to absorb 1 of the damage. It's still a 1-turn clock. I'm all in. That's not even true. I actually still have an ace in my hand. The Stinkweed Imp, get it going with the existence. Like, even if they kill Kitchen Imp here, which they did, now I can discard Imp, get back, or discard Stinkweed, get back Kitchen, then Kitchen comes back with haste. All right, Snuff out. Yeah, just all of that comes right back in. It's nice that I wasn't actually all in. I have to decide here if I want to dredge Stinkweed Imp for turn, because I have that option. I think I do. All right, I'll get Kitchen Imp back in my hand, discarding Stinkweed. Dredge 5. Not to the bone, which is good for 1 right now. No thanks. A Tortured Existence, target Nyxborn Hydra, discard Kitchen Imp, which gets back Hydra. Imp is a lethal threat. Oh, no, it's not. I'm 1 short. Bummer. That's fine. Put you to 1. I accept. It's lethal next turn. I told you counting's for nerds, and what do you think I am? I'm just a Magic the Gathering YouTuber, not a nerd. Okay, an attack with everything, which is a little sus. Alright, I'm gonna bestow the Hydra for 1. That's enough that it gets above Spellstutter Sprite while giving it trample, and if they kill it in response, I still get what I want. Alright, I mean, I guess I'll still buff it. Yeah, bounce and removal are the things. Like, bounce removal and flash chump blockers are the things they could have. And buffing it plays around a flash blocker at least. Snuff Out can't kill it. Cast Down does. Okay. So I did spend mana I didn't have to there. I accept that. Still in a pretty dominating position here. Everything I did last turn and the turn before, I can just do next turn also. It doesn't matter. Abandon attachments. This will bring back a snacker. 2 fresh cards in the grip. The 4th Lorien revealed. That's all of them. Who would win? 4 Lorien revealeds or 1 Tortured Existence? The answer may surprise you. Alright, I'm going to get back Kitchen Imp. That gives me 2 lethal attackers next turn. If I dredge Stinkweed, I might not have a target for Existence. And it's likely that I will, but it's not guaranteed. I'm still going to do it. Okay, we got there. Okay, target Crypt Rats. That's another lethal threat now. Discard Kitchen Imp. Cast it for its madness cost. Get back Crypt Rats. And so this would be 3-4, or it would be 4-5, which means they have to block, block, block. Yeah, I think giving... Nope, the flyer doesn't trample. There are many things to manage here. Magic is a complicated game. All right, I'll make my trampler bigger. They do have blocks here that leave them alive, but it kills 2 of their creatures and costs me nothing. Something's happening. All right, snuff out the big boy. Sure. Okay. We play on, it seems. And I don't actually want Spore Frog in my hand, so I'll just not use Existence right now. Augur of Bolus. I can't find Lorien revealed anymore. They've used them all. Ah, whiff. Cool. Finally, Augur of Bolus functioning as intended. I'm reaching the point where I'm a little worried about decking before I can finish them off. Not a lot worried, but enough that I have to think about it so I don't accidentally fall into it. There are 2 more brown scales in my deck. If I dredge at least once, I'm pretty likely to find one. Abandoned attachments. My opponent does not seem worried about decking, though. Just shredding through their cards. Probably because they have to. They are dead to face-up information. In 2 different ways. I can Existence the Hydra back and give this trample, and I can just cast Crypt Rats. Both are viable options. Okay, Augurs are attacking. End step, get back my Hydra. Hail Hydra. Draw step, I am going to dredge the Imp, probably for the last time. Found a second Imp and an Avenging Hunter. Alright, if I go green, green, 1, bestow, this becomes lethal, and it leaves back Rats for 1. Oh, their 3-card hand has to have a counterspell for Rat and removal for this, and it all has to happen for less than 4 mana. Brainstorm is not looking good for them. And they need 2 blockers, not 1. Like this one plus 2 more to survive a 3-power trample creature. This, yeah, I mean, that counterspell does work because of the rules. But I had this one. And I know how to tap 1 swamp or 1 black mana. Sweet. That was a nice game. Tortured Existence dominating quadruple Lorien revealed. Okay, Fumes and Arms come in. I like Thorn way less against Spellstutter Sprite decks than I do against Terror decks. Nyxborn Hydra. That's the reason for the season. Very into that. Grave Scrabbler leaving the deck. I think 1 is the right number of Knot of the Bone. That's It's not a card I want actively, but it is a card that can swing a race by 2 or 3 turns, which might be what the game is all about. A Fairy Macabre for the Sneaky Snackers it's there, but I don't think it's high impact. I think the deck just has too many Gate Creeper Vines in it, and I don't mind boarding some out. Even though my opponent did jam a counterspell off on one of them, which was incredible that game. Can I get a Nile Spellbomb in? I like Nile Spellbomb more than I like any of the sorcery speed stuff. Like, Spellbomb might just be better than Bajuka Bog. And then I don't want to cut creatures for Nile Spellbomb is the problem, because you do need some density of those. Cast Down is kind of mid, but might be important, especially post-board where they could have Murmuring Mystic. Yeah, I think I'm going to go 1 Nile Spellbomb and just be happy with that. No lands at all. I will mulligan this. No lands at all again. That's unlikely. Okay. Keep. Bottom, Forest, and Forest. Island. Cycling Lorien. Yeah, Manor Gate stinks. I would love to draw Swamp if I could get the existence down before any counterspells are online. That's a big deal. They did tutor a tap land, which means counterspell and spells that are sprite won't be on if they play that, and they'd need a specialty answer like a Null or Spell Pierce. Okay. Yeah, I'm shoving the existence this turn. And drawing 2 redundant copies also makes me a little more confident in casting the spell. I didn't play around Force Spike, but I don't think they have that. Brainstorm in response. Digging for that Force of Will. Or that Daze. All these cards that are legal in the format. Okay, I've resolved that. That's step 1. Commune with the Gods is going to be step 2. And then having mana is going to be part of it as well. Stinkweed Imp. Well, I like that guy. Let's see if these gods are allowed to commune with. I would counter this if I was my opponent and had the ability. Okay. It did resolve. And I think I like Nyxborn Hydra more than I like Spore Frog. Alright, now I need to draw lands. It's just going to be, do I have enough black mana to do the tricks to get ahead of their handful of cards? The mulligan to 5 didn't really affect my first 3 turns, but is going to start affecting me every turn after this. The Spell Stutter coming out. Am I getting ninja'd? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's the Life Gain Ninja. That one. That one I don't care very much about. My opponent does have Spell Stutter Sprite in their hand, though, and we know it. Okay, land, huge draw. Okay, play Basilisk Gate and just put Stinkweed Imp onto the battlefield. Again, don't care if they counter it. Don't care if they attack into it. Don't care if they spend a removal spell on it. It's a deal no matter what. Brainstorm. I'm trying to imagine what my hand would have to be to cycle a Lorien revealed from my opponent's position right now. I was thinking like Brainstorm, End Step, and then they could cycle reveal to clear the cards. But this deck, in this position against this deck, I would just draw. I would just wait until I have 5 mana no matter what and cast that Lorien. Okay, cast down on Stinkweed Imp. Deal. Unfortunately, I still want to draw lands, so that's not even really, like, good for me at this time. Abandoned Attachments. They have a Snacker. It does tap them out of that Spell Stutter we knew about, though. I missed a land drop. That's gross for me. Alright. My draw was rewarded. And yeah, I'm just going to make a 2/3 Hydra here. It's big enough to tangle with Snacker. It could trade with the Ambusher if I care. I mostly don't. Ooh, snuff out immediately. Sure. Tempo plays. I think I have to dredge Stinkweed Imp here just to cast it. We're kind of in that zone where now I am becoming worried about my life total. I could play a Tortured Existence that I know they'll jam that Spellstutter Sprite off on, but they might end step Spellstutter anyway, and I don't want to give it free money. Cast down. Now it's getting a little stressful. Dredge Stinkweed Imp. I've got one more turn where this is viable. Oh, hold on. There's a brown scale in my graveyard now. Okay. I could gain some life off of that. I only have 1 black mana. That's less than I want. Do I think they would counter Tortured Existence if I cast it? Now I'm kind of regretting not playing it out last turn, because resolving Spore Frog's a big deal now. Brown scale puts me to 6. Then I could cast a removal spell, maybe. Alright. I'm going to pick up brown scale. Yeah, the problem is my mana's bad. If I had more black, I could do cooler things this turn. But I don't. And I'm going to pass And if they jam out Spell Stutter as a lethal threat in the end step, I'll cast down the Ambusher. If they have 2 counterspells here, I can't win anyway. All right. Kill the 3/2, I hope. Okay. That worked. And the face-up Spell Stutter is out of hand. And if they had a counterspell there, they would have used it because it's a lethal play. So now I don't have to think about counterspell that much. Okay, I'm at 3. Thorn of the Black Rose. That's gross. Okay, that one's going to be tough. I think I have to just take a draw because I need lands. I need mana. Yeah, Basic Swamp, actually the best draw in my deck there. Okay, what am I going to do with it? I can get back Spore Frog, and then I can use Spore Frog to get back Brown Scale, and then I can use Brown Scale to get back Spore Frog, and then I can play Spore Frog. Just a cheeky little 2 life in there. Trying to set up for next turn where things really happen. Okay, this was actually a really smart attack because if Thorn of the Black Rose attacks, then I just don't block, don't frog. I'm at 1, attack, take the Monarch, and then you never have it again. But having this frog in play is still more valuable. All right, Murmuring Mystic. That'll be tough to get through, as usual. Dredging Brown Scale. I've gained 6 life already this game, and I'm at 2. Everyone mattered. We've got Hunter, Hydra, Frog, Imp. I think Imp is the best stabilizing object here. There's nothing that represents a land. Or Hydra is bigger than Imp. Okay, I'll get Hydra. I'm not going to bestow. I'll just cast it for real. They would need exactly a null to counter this now, which they do have. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to get 2 cards in my hand. It's going to have to involve the Witness somehow. Yeah, they're far enough ahead of me and I'm far enough behind. Yeah, having the Monarch here, I think, is going to break it for them. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually messed up. Not that this creature matters, but the Spell Stutter sprite in their hand now actually completely changes how I need to play next turn because I know that Spore Frog won't resolve. I'll dredge Brown Scale for the life. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm still dead. All right. Got me this time. The mull to 5 plus drawing 2 for TortEx, that was like a mull to 3 and just ended up really 1 action spell short at the end there. Now, this is a matchup where the reloads matter a lot. Like, obviously it matters. I put the card in my deck, but getting a 3-for-1 off Grave Scrabbler is exactly how I convert that type of mid-game situation we were just in into a winning one. I think I'm going to bring Scrabbler in over Masked Vandal anyway. It's still scary enough to counter if you don't know that it doesn't work, and even being able to cycle it and get a body plus what Existence would get back, just take the 2-for-1. On the play, I'll keep. No Existence, but a lot of fair stuff. The engine's there. Black Dragon Gate. Get my tap lands in while they're not doing anything else. Cycling Lorien Field. Yeah, this early in the game, I could see cycling it if you just literally need your second land or you don't have black yet. Anytime after that, I'd be holding it. Opponent is also in the 5-minute range on their clock, which is not specifically what I'm trying to play towards usually, but I mean, I am aware of it. I'll put Stanquean Imp into play. Once again, there's very little they could do to it that would bother me. And it being in play will stop ninjas from coming in because this blocks anything profitably. Yeah, I have to cast that down. I'll take it. Do I want to dredge this back? I don't think so. There's real spells in my deck still. I'll play Brown Scale this time. Snuff Out is one of the removal spells their deck is featuring, so playing out Nyxborn Hydra, even though it's the better creature and it's likely to resolve, I'd rather make their removal worse. Spell Bomb, you got me. Gonna bomb that Imp. Hardcast Sneaky Snacker. The race is on. I'm not gonna dredge Imp. I've got another one. And drawing Imp after declining to dredge Imp is just like dredging Imp, except I didn't play into Nile Spellbomb, and that makes me very smart and handsome. Completely at random, but I will take that. I decided to leave up Cast Down this turn to respect the possibility of ninjas rather than develop a tap land. Using Brainstorm before combat's interesting. They could have attacked here, see if I block, then the Brainstorm brings back the Snacker for a play they were going to make anyway. All right, no attacks. I like that. Anytime my Golgari draft common dipshits can do anything, I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, Gate Creeper Vine plays into Spell Stutter Sprite, but I do have Cast Down. Okay, they didn't bother with it, which I think is reasonable. However, now Basilisk Gate's online. Now I got real attacks. Yeah, Spell Bomb, the emergency Spell Bomb, because they're behind is exactly what I want to see. Another Spell Bomb. That's okay, I'm not using the graveyard right now. I'm beaten face. Hardcast Ambusher. Gotta do what you gotta do. I'm not going to be needlessly aggressive with the cast downs. That's pretty clutch if they get an actual good ninja into play or a Murmuring Mystic. A Sneaky Snacker, Chump Block, deal. At this point, I'm fairly confident they don't have cast or Snuff Out. That means I should be thinking about where I can deploy this next Born Hydra. Wow. Emergency meeting, draw a card. Bombing nothing at all. They at least got a Stinkweed and buff the first one. The next card draw gets Snacker back. That is 2. Bajuka Bog, let's go. I feel immortal right now. This is the best moment of my life. 2 Nile Spellbombs and a Bajuka Bog fired off for basically no value. And if they had just made this attack first, I probably wouldn't have blocked. But now that Bomb and Bog have been spent, I'll take the trade. Let's take the pressure off. Deal. Nice. Okay, that was sick. And Imp is actually good enough, just as Imp, that I'm interested in having it. All right. Brown Scale. Take the buff. Attack for 8. So in the end step here, they would need counterspell, like actual counterspell on Stinkweed Imp, plus dropping a flash creature, plus having a ninja in their 4-card hand. Looks like they're in bad shape. Lauren revealed. That changes the shape very quickly. Does cost a lot of mana, though. Commune with the Gods. I don't think I want to do that. I kind of think I want to buff Stinkweed Imp, because that one doesn't get snuffed out. And it has lower power on its own if they're just casting a removal spell. Okay, that worked. And then Nyxborn Hydra. They have to have stuff out to interact. All right, I'm just going to attack first. If they panic and snuff this out, then my Hydra's even better. All right, I am just going to cast this as a creature. Or hold on, this is a better Commune with the Gods turn, because if I can hit Tortured Existence, I'm doing great. Kitchen Imp, Tilling Tree Folk. That's a draw. Brown Scale is just another ground pounder. Oh, I'm milling over a Basilisk Gate. That's the nuts. Okay. I was hoping that there was a gate in my graveyard, and now there is. Tilling Tree Folk, get back Basilisk and Manor Gates. Play the Manor Gate. And now I have double Basilisk Gate next turn, which gives me 2 lethal attackers because they'll both be +8, and both my creatures each have 1 power at least. All right, there's Mystic. That's why I've been saving Cast Down the whole game, and Hydra the whole game. They can reset Bajuka Bog this turn. Abandon Attachments, that's pretty good. Discarded another Abandon Attachments. That must mean their hand is pretty high quality. All right, I don't think I'm dredging here. No. Oh yeah, let's go. Okay. Basilisk Gate. I'm going to cast down Murmuring Mystic first. Because if they counter this, then Tortured Existence gets a moment to breathe. I can at least resolve it. I know I'm getting bogged next turn. Also, if they counter this, I might just have lethal with Bestowed Hydra plus Pump. Okay, they're done. Their hand must be worse than I thought. What a sweet match that was. Okay, this deck, I mean, we saw a little bit going on. I do think that the Basilisk Gate added real ability to turn the corner and win to a deck that's frequently dirtily. I don't know if it needs that. Like, if we just had better mana and more reliable Tortured Existence, just like more swamps so Cryptrak could hit harder, do we actually need Basilisk Gate to do more stuff? That's a different question. Question 1 is, when you're deck building, it's not, the only question is not, does this do what I want it to? It's, is it better than something else that I could be doing? And we checked one of the boxes. The other one would need more exploration. Obviously, massive beating that one of the most important cards in our deck is bugged. So at least we played this league for free. I'm not going to talk about that too much, but the engine itself, Avenging Hunter plus Spore Frog, that kicked in a bunch of times. That was actually really relevant. And we might need to respect even more that the format is full of main deck graveyard hate right now, because those Bajuka Bogs and Nile Spellbombs that just about everyone has are pretty tough. You don't need all 4 Gatecreeper Vines. You could probably get away with 2, and then that could be 2 slots for other things like Masked Vandal, or maybe even some main deck reliable disenchant effect, because the twist about Masked Vandal is if your opponent has graveyard hate, Masked Vandal might not work, and Masked Vandal is in the deck to answer graveyard hate. But if they have to pop the Nile Spellbomb to stop you from destroying the Nile Spellbomb, then, you know, you've still done it. But I don't know. You can do some digging. The Evolution Witness was pretty nice. If Grave Scrabbler is bugged and you want to play this deck, I think you could replace him with Evolution Witnesses, and that was the one that kind of did the job I was hoping for out of Scrabbler, where getting it back is worth 2 cards, and you're actually going positive off of Tortured Existence instead of running neutral. This was sweet. I'm not going to put too much more into this. Those are my general thoughts. It was a delight to play Tortured Existence again, and I know there are some sickos out there in the viewership and in the comments who agree. A beloved card. Osibus, thank you for sending this deck in. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel. I'll see you next time.